A single disastrous error. TAM Flight 3054. The world had always viewed Eduardo as a meticulous pilot. For over a decade, he had flown countless flights, safely navigating passengers through turbulent skies and unpredictable weather. His name was synonymous with precision and dependability. That was until the day of TAM Flight 3054. It was a humid summer evening in Sao Paulo. Flight 3054 was bound for the bustling Congonhas airport, carrying 186 souls. The Airbus A320 was one of the most advanced in TAM Airlines' fleet, equipped with sophisticated systems designed to ensure safety. Passengers on board were immersed in various activities: a mother soothing her baby, a businessman reviewing his presentation, a young couple excitedly planning their honeymoon. All were unaware of the error that would soon unravel. As Eduardo and his co-pilot prepared for landing, they reviewed their checklist, a routine that had become second nature. But there was one thing Eduardo missed: a critical adjustment to the engine thrust settings. Earlier in the flight, the plane's right thrust reverser had been disabled for maintenance, and Eduardo was supposed to ensure the left engine compensated during landing. It seemed minor at the time, a single oversight, a fleeting moment where Eduardo's focus faltered. He didn't recheck the thrust lever position for the disabled engine. The result? When the plane touched down on the rain-slicked runway, the left engine began braking, but the right engine continued to produce full thrust, propelling the plane forward instead of slowing it down. Eduardo realized the error too late. The aircraft careened down the short runway, unable to stop. The passengers' anticipation of a safe landing turned to panic as the plane overshot the tarmac, plummeting into a nearby building. The crash was devastating. Flames erupted, consuming the fuselage. First responders did their best, but the scale of the disaster left little room for miracles. All 186 passengers and crew lost their lives, and the tragedy claimed several more on the ground. In the days following the crash, Eduardo's name was on every news channel, every headline. Investigators scrutinized every detail, eventually discovering his oversight. Public outrage was swift, and Eduardo was labeled reckless, incompetent, a far cry from the hero he had once been. But Eduardo wasn't alive to defend himself. He had perished in the crash along with his co-pilot, leaving his family to grapple with the weight of his mistake. His wife, Clara, and their two young children faced a world that viewed Eduardo as a villain, not the loving husband and father they knew him to be. The tragedy of TAM Flight 3054 became a case study in aviation safety, but it also sparked a deeper conversation about human error. The airline industry had always prided itself on rigorous training and technology designed to minimize mistakes. Yet, Eduardo's story served as a stark reminder: even the most experienced professionals are human. Clara, despite her grief, took it upon herself to share Eduardo's story, not to absolve him, but to humanize him. She visited aviation schools, speaking to aspiring pilots about the importance of diligence and double-checking, not just in their professional lives, but in every decision they made. Eduardo wasn't careless, she would say. He was tired, distracted, maybe even overconfident. That's what cost him and so many others their lives. One moment of inattention can change everything. Her talks resonated deeply with students and professionals alike. They realized that while technology and training could mitigate risks, humility and vigilance were equally crucial. Eduardo's error became a cautionary tale, a painful but necessary reminder of the fragility of human life. Over time, stricter regulations were introduced to address the kind of error that had doomed Flight 3054. Pilots were required to undergo more rigorous checks, and systems were updated to flag inconsistencies in thrust lever positions. The industry collectively vowed to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. For Clara, the pain never fully faded, but she found solace in the impact her efforts had made. She often thought about the passengers and their families, the lives forever altered by that single error. It was a heavy burden, but one she bore with quiet determination. The story of TAM Flight 3054 is not just about a catastrophic mistake. It's about the weight of responsibility we carry in our actions. It's a lesson in humility, a reminder that even the smallest errors can have far-reaching consequences. We live in a world that often demands perfection, but Eduardo's story teaches us that perfection is an illusion. What truly matters is our willingness to learn from our mistakes and use them to make the world a safer, kinder place. In the end, Eduardo's legacy was not defined by his error, but by the lessons it taught, a single disastrous error that, while tragic, inspired a commitment to vigilance and humanity in a field where even the smallest details can mean the difference between life and death. And so, the moral is clear. No matter how skilled or experienced we are, we must never let our guard down. For in the complex tapestry of life, a single thread can unravel everything.